And here it is, Chrono Odyssey, the game of the decade. The game that will define the future of MMORPG genre. After the release of this game, there will be no other MMORPG in the scene. This is it. Game over. Or not. In the end, a game is just a game. Chrono Odyssey is an open-world action MMORPG that is dark, heavy, and Souls-like experience. And honestly, excluding all the unnecessary hype for this game's marketing, what they did so far was impressive, in my opinion. The elephant in the room, anyone who had some sort of internet access past decade probably heard about the games like Black Desert Online, New World, and similar online games that you do things like this. And you can see the similarities between the games. I'm not gonna say like this game copied that game type of thing, because first of all, I never believed that game copied another game type of weirdness is not my cup of tea. Instead, I can say this game feels inspired by games like Black Desert Online and New World. And Dark Souls, clearly. I'm going to talk more about the combat in its own section, but if I have to be honest, I liked the way combat looked, at least, but I had some concerns. Now, for the people who don't care about the details, I will link the time for the overall review. You can just skip this video and for the final verdict for the playtest I had. But other people who want to experience and see what playtest offer, we are moving on. First of all, playtest didn't have all the gameplay elements they will offer with the release. While we could see the different activities scattered around the open world, most of the time you get the message saying the content will be available at the official launch. And this might limit what we can expect from the overall game experience, since MMORPG is defined by its endgame. We are still given enough to have a proper opinion about the state of the game, what you can expect from the full release, and of course the good, bad, and the ugly. Game starts with a dark, gritty, gory trailer, showing us the world and the ambience of the game, what you can expect, how the story will go, and yeah, it's dark. It's definitely dark. After a short trailer, we are getting the best of the best the game offers, the character creation. It's 10 out of 10. No cap, full W's, future is here, best game ever, game of the year edition, whatever. Character creation, beautiful. Now, we are not given all the classes for the test. We had Swordsman, Berserker, and Ranger for the starter, while the full game will have Sorcerer, Assassin, and Paladin added to the roster. But still, what we had as a starting classes was really nice, and also they had subclass system and everything, which I'm going to talk about later, but overall what we get at the beginning is pretty nice. And after you get your class, you choose your class, we are facing the character creation scene, which is beautiful. First of all, none of the classes are gender locked, which is a huge win in my opinion. I know that's not a big deal for majority of players, but it's still better when you can fully customize your character, especially if you are going to play them for the next decade, right? Anyway, after being your class, you are thrown into the character creation scene, and the UI is beautiful, the options are great. I mean, it kind of depends on your point of view, but freedom given to the player with the character creation is something I always love. And I'm amazed by the scope and the style of the character creation that offered too. I played BDO, and I never liked the BDO's character creation scene, let's be honest. Not in a way, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but like, I expected something much more than what we are given. Like, it's like you have the scope, like that huge scope, but the tools you are given are so terrible. If we were given better UI, I believe it would have been much better. But this game offers that. I especially love the grid/plane type of part editing tool. Beautiful. It's so easy to use, so easy to fiddle with, and like you feel what you are fixing, changing on your character's parts, which is awesome. And overall, I love you can go extreme lengths on the character creation. And I've seen a lot of people doing that. Except the boob slider. Like, come on, really? That's the part that you are putting the brakes on? I never get that. Now, after we are done with our class and character creation, we are thrown into the game, the prologue, the tutorial scene. It starts with a small cutscene where we are shown I'm assuming the quest line important characters. I don't know, like we are not giving too much on the lore yet, but we are shown a few characters that seem like we are gonna go with a little bit. And after the cutscene, we are thrown into the game immediately. And I like this, that you are given the best state of your class, at least like a good state, let's say. Like you are given all the abilities, all the weapons, you have all the abilities, and you can test your character at that point, what your skills does, like how the combat works for that class, and which is awesome. Like, let me see how the class works before I fully commit. That's great. And we are given again a little bit of the idea how the combat is gonna work, but a small part of it in the beginning scene, just a few enemies thrown at you, you are killing them, and even that's not even a part of the quest, by the way. Like you are instinctively going and killing the enemies in front of you. But the quest is showing you to go somewhere else, and you just go there, you're taking a short ride, and yes, you are given a horse first thing. The game is trying to show you that it's open world and have all those mounts and like different terrains that you can travel through. It's all cool, it's all nice. Anyway, you reach the quest location after a short ride, and then there goes another cutscene. Again, the game's trying a little bit too hard on the dark and gory parts here too. Now, I'm not gonna tell more about the story because I want people to actually enjoy it themselves when the game launch or on the next beta maybe, I don't know. But I'm not gonna spoil anything. Now, after the cutscene, we are thrown into our first proper boss fight. And this is the part where we are seeing the true scope of combat. The game offers the concept of having weapons as your subclass. Basically, you have your class and then your weapons are your subclasses. For example, Swordsman has the Great Sword, Sword and Shield, and those were the subclasses. Like Ranger has the bow, crossbow, and rapier, and so on and on. And you can carry 2 weapons out of the 3, so you are locked into 2 styles, at least at the combat. And the more you play with your equipped weapon, the more you kill enemies, you will get more mastery on that specific weapon, and that's how you progress your weapon style, which is a nice part of the game. Again, like the progression and stuff, I'm going to talk more about them later. But basically, the weapon you have and choose is what defines your combat style too. Now, in combat, this is the part where people praise the game as a Souls-like MMORPG, and yeah, game clearly has the Souls-like combat in mind for the game, where like basically what you do is hack and slash action combat and dodge abilities to keep yourself alive type of combat. And sadly, in this part, the game suffers what many Souls-like games fails, like not the Souls-born games, the ones that are made by From Software, but the games are made by other companies. They always fail on one crucial part: hit response. When you play any Souls-born games from Software games, you know that hitting an enemy will give you some sort of response. Like depending on the enemy's armor state, if you are using a heavy weapon, you know that it's gonna stagger the enemy, or like if you are using a fast weapon, you just know how many hits you need to stagger the enemy. Basically, stagger is the main response you get. After hitting the enemy, you expect something. But the Chrono Odyssey, you don't get that. At least from the small enemies, you don't get anything. Bosses have some sort of stagger bar, and you stagger the enemy after you fill the bar. Like hitting continuously just fills the bar. And after they are staggered, they are just stunned for a few seconds, and that's it. Like that's the whole stagger mechanic works on the bosses. And small enemies didn't get any stagger at all. Like at least not that I could feel. Maybe that was a bug. I don't know. The game was riddled with bugs on the playtest. It might be just a bug that I could never get a proper stagger in. The game, the combat, didn't feel great because of this. I don't know if they can fix that, and it might be a deal breaker for many people. Like combat didn't feel as good. At least the melee couldn't give the mage, like the sorcerer, so I don't know how the mage fighting will work. Apparently Ranger had some ability spells. I didn't play Ranger either. I just go and play the swordsman. All I know is the melee fight was trouble. Like, moving aside from the combat, the progression and the skills and stuff is kind of nice. Like, I liked how you could develop your weapon just by using it. It's the same way how it works on the life skills. Like, you use a specific tool or action or weapon and anything, and your skill improves as you do it more. Very simple, very straightforward, and I like simple and straightforward. That's what you would expect from your games. And game didn't have much to offer for the playtest, but you could pretty much see how the progression will work. Now, at least for the end game, until you reach the end game. And the game is gonna be filled with activities until you reach the end game, so that's a good, in my opinion. With the progression on the side, and you could also see the UI is pretty straightforward too, going hands in hands with the progression system. They don't make things complex, which is something I like. Very simple UI, you could see whatever you want, whatever you look for, it was easy to find them, which is something I like. Again, pure gamer instincts, you can just go through anything in this game. Now, moving on to the actual activities like PvP and PvE. One of the reasons I believe this game will have a strong economy is because the PvP is completely optional. And because of that, you're just not gonna have any problem doing life skills, right? Like, there will be a lot of players play the game just for collecting stuff, doing the, mining, logging, or whatever life skill is there, and live their life with that. That's a PvE offer that you could rarely get these days. The PvP toggle is so simple. You just got your real UI and toggle your PvP. Simple push. And with the simple push, you unflag yourself PvP again, which is great for PvE players, not that great for PvP players, because no PvP player wants anyone to escape their flag easily. I don't think this game will have huge PvP, not gonna lie. To be fair, I don't have much to test on the PvP side of the things. I don't know if anyone did an in-depth PvP testing to this game, but I do not expect anything of PvP from this game. This feels like more PvE oriented game. Tons of activities for PvE on the open world, like instance activities, trials, vaults, bounty hunts, solo dungeons, boss dungeons, so many things. Like, the game is gonna be filled with PvE activities. Again, until the end game at least. I don't know what's gonna happen in the end game. What's the end game for this game? We will see it eventually, but overall it seems pretty fine. But here comes the last boss. Actual last boss for everyone. Performance. Now, before we start, I have to say I have a pretty decent PC. Not in the high-end spectrum of the things, but I would say majority of the gamers have pretty much what I have. So, majority spectrum, should I say? At least for performance. The game follows the suit of every recent game released and tries very hard to bring extreme realism as graphics to the game, which, as you all know, means it's another blurry game in the market. We are living in the age of blurry games. Now, while I play, I didn't had any crash. I only had one before launch. I had like a character creation screen, had one crash, but that was it. But didn't had any crash while playing, except lots of graphical errors happening. Some game breaking, some not game breaking, but I don't know, immersion breaking maybe. I experienced so much stuttering and lag, the usual unoptimized game issues. Again, I had the epic graphics and it looked nice, and I was having like 75 FPS at some point, and then it suddenly falls to 30 and 35 FPS. And even if I lower the graphics, the FPS doesn't change, because it doesn't happen because of the graphical fidelity, but because of the unoptimized graphics. It is the biggest issue I had with the game, and everyone had with the game so far, and it's probably gonna be the part they need to work hardest. At some cutscenes I had trouble in the beginning, but eventually, I guess after a few roll of loading shader part, it started to feel normal. Areas without the players was fine, but in towns it was going very, very fast, very down. So I don't know. The game definitely needs some technical picking up for sure. For an overall look of the things, we can say like the good, bad, and the ugly of the game. For the good, Game had good mix of classes and subclasses at the start. It's probably gonna be fun to play these classes. The character creation is really good. Game is not complex in its loop, like very simple. You go outside, you kill enemies, you do dungeons, you do puzzles, whatever you do. Like the game is not pushing you different directions to understand what's happening, which is great in my opinion. Overall, the game's atmosphere is nice. Like it felt really good. Like they try to tell a dark and gritty story, and they are pretty much telling it. So at least for now, it felt nice. Weapon system is fun to play with. I like that. I like the subclass system. I like the mastery system. Like you could change your weapon in combat. It's pretty fun in my opinion. Effectively changing the style that you are fighting. As a ranger, you are using bow on the long range, while you can use your rapier for the close combat, which is great. A sudden change like that I always like. The game has a lot of side activities like the bounties, the trials, the puzzles, a lot of things. They were fun. They are definitely fun to play with, so it's all good. And at the start of the game, you can see your class fully, which is a huge win in my opinion. Like, that's really great. I like when games do that. Now, for the bad part, obviously, performance. Performance was so bad. The game felt really bad with the performance. I mean, it wasn't as worse as some games I experienced, okay, but it was still bad. Like, not just the FPS drop parts, but also a lot of different graphics going out of the scenes, like objects disappearing and reappearing. Terrain doesn't look as it should look. Like you have so many problems while traveling the world. A simple small rock might be a huge hurdle for you. Like it doesn't feel like it should hinder your steps, but it does. And then you try to stand on a huge rock, a boulder, and you fall on that because it felt like you are trying to stay on a simple stick. There are a lot of issues with the environment. And again, that's probably because of the optimization issues. I hope they can fix that. And also the combat part, like I don't know if they can change things at this point. I don't like fighting many opponents because it doesn't feel like like my hits doesn't feel any response from the enemies. I hope they can change it, but I doubt that. I don't know what's gonna happen. And the story's beginning was also kind of meh. It wasn't huge. Very generic story, let's say. Like the characters act as you would expect them to be. You know, the moment you see that character, you know what kind of a character that was gonna be. And also, the unnecessary hype for the marketing is, I believe, hinder this game. It's definitely gonna hurt for sure. The hype is bad. It's never good for games. I hope this playtest is actually gonna lower down that hype. It might help on that part, I don't know. And a restricted boob slider. That's a big lose on my end. Now for the ugly part, I talk about the monetization and microtransaction, the money part, the dirty part of gaming on the ugly side. Now we are not given any info on the monetization of the game. We don't even know what kind of microtransactions are going to be in, but we kind of know it's going to be there because like the Kakao games, let's be real, they're going to definitely add something. I only hope it's not going to be as scummy as people expect. But we will see eventually. Since we don't given anything, I'm not going to put any verdict on that one, but it can get pretty ugly. That's all we know. On top of all this, Chrono Studios CEO recently posted a tweet on Twitter X, whatever you call it, and they talk about the experience on the closed beta, like how they will process the feedback and the future of the second closed beta, basically. Like they try to assure the gamers that they will provide a better game than the game that we were given in the playtest. I don't know, like they say they have the passion, and like I would like to believe, I hope that is true, because overall it was a good game to play. Especially you don't have anything else to play, it's definitely a good game to play. Now, we know that this game is not gonna be free to play. Like Kakao Games said they're gonna put a retail price on the game, so I don't know. If it was free to play, this game might have a value to people, like they could just jump in and see if it's for them. And if they don't like it, they can just drop it. And that could also justify all the microtransactions and monetization in the games. But considering that there's gonna be a retail price, with the game's current state, I wouldn't advise people to buy it. At least wait for a discount or something. Like the way it is right now, it doesn't worth buying this game. I don't know if they're gonna be able to change it until the release. I hope they will work on this game because it looked fine. It looked a fun game to play. But we will see how the pricing going to be too. Like, I don't know. Is it gonna be a full price game? That would suck. Well, that's it. That's all I will be saying for the Chrono Odyssey's playtest. Now, this is the part where I end the video with this stuff, but I have a few things to say. First of all, this was my first ever edited video, long form content that is. It was tough, but I also enjoyed doing this. I hope you liked watching it, and I need your feedback. I need your feedback. I hope you see this, listen to this, and go to the comment section to tell me what was right, what was wrong, what can I fix, what should I be doing more. Everything I will need. And if you actually liked, please consider subscribing and liking the video, giving a thumbs up, sharing it with your friends, doing all the free help stuff. Or if you have money, now you can throw it at me at my Patreon, because I have a Patreon where you can give me money. Now I don't have any tiers or anything like that, but I can eventually add them. For now, anyone who is kind enough to give me money, I'm just gonna put your name here for thanks. And that's it. Thank you all for watching, and thank you all for coming here. I really appreciate it. Until we meet again, stay safe, be happy, and be healthy, everyone. Goodbye.